On Nigeria's population, I'm asking, is it an advantage or a disadvantage? I'll make my point very clear on this. Without a comprehensive overhaul of our data infrastructure, our population is no advantage. It's a burden. Plans must be backed by evidence from reasonably accurate data. Otherwise, they are simply imaginations and set to fail. How do you govern a nation with unknown population? It is impossible to plan for infrastructure, education, jobs, healthcare. The dangers of the situation are glaring. Mass unemployment, brain drain, uncontrolled urbanization, stretched infrastructure in the sectors I've mentioned. Everything is affected negatively when planning is shoddy. The current system of resource allocation, where population size plays a significant role, as well as voter capacity, means that population projections from 2006 census are deeply marred by politics. While it is a no-brainer that another census with focus on strengthened and modern data systems is non-negotiable, this has not received adequate attention from government. It's not too much no matter how many times we talk about it. Why does it seem like in Nigeria, the more we talk about obvious gaps, the more things stay the same? Government continues with business as usual. This begs the question, are they really planning for Nigerians or for themselves? We need a clear roadmap of how the legal framework and institutional arrangements required to support a fully digital population and housing census will be achieved, including in rural areas, as well as the institutionalization of continuous, credible demographic and health surveys. Nigeria has the resources for this to happen. It is about prioritization. You cannot hit the ground running, as many politicians like to say, when you have no credible planning process. Where exactly are you coming from and where are you going to? Harnessing the potentials and advantages of a large population cannot be based on wishful thinking. Real, urgent, and meticulous work is required. Enough of the laissez-faire approach to burning issues. This is the only country we have. Citizens and civil society cannot be tired of speaking out and making efforts to make government as uncomfortable as we are on burning issues.
As much as we say we don't have adequate data on our population, we have a fairly credible birth rate data. I mean, pretty much everywhere you go, births are being captured.
But so not death.
But not death. But again, we can give or take estimates, give or take, at the core of it. So what this gives us is a demographic dividend. We are able to plan for the younger people because we know the number of children that are being born year on year. And another advantage is a large domestic market. Like when we look at it, a large internal population means like the dress Nwamaka is wearing, like I can sell thousands of this in Nigeria alone. So again, if we have a smaller population, we have a smaller market, and then we need to look outwards to sell. And then human capital, a large population of young people means we can actually be a net exporter of human capital. You see a lot of people, a lot of organizations setting up BPO offices in Nigeria. It's because we have a vibrant youth population and also because labor is relatively cheap. Also global influence. Have you seen anyone try to find Nigerians before? We overwhelm them because of our, of our population, even though we could be badly behaved on the internet. But the downside to population explosion and then the lack of adequate data is unemployment also, because we don't have adequate data to plan for the amount of employment we need. It's been a persistent issue all around. Also inadequate social services. We don't know how many schools we need to serve the population that we have. Inadequate infrastructure. We cannot particularly project that, okay, in the next 10 years, this Ekpe zone, we are going to have about 200,000 people living there. These are the things we need to put in place to ensure that they have a decent living environment. I know that we're meant to have a census in 2023, but President Buhari kind of like postponed it indefinitely because he wanted the current administration to be a part of it. I think what we should be calling for right now is to ensure that the census happen as soon as possible. When we have adequate data about where we are and how we are broken down into pieces, it makes for better decision making.
I am of the view that Nigeria has a population challenge, but it's not as big as we make it sound. I think what we have is an urban population problem. And and I say it with very good context. Over the weekend, I had cause to travel to Ilesha, and then from Ilesha, I went to Ekiti, back to Ilesha, then back to Lagos, all by road. And when you travel that stretch, what you see is vast, amount of land, and the population in the hinterlands so sparse. But when you go into the urban centers, you see that this is bursting at the seams. And so a lot of the things that we see today, that we talk about, all the issues around overpopulation, housing crisis, and all that, it's really an urban problem. All right. So the question for me is, how do we get all this, our suburban cities, our states, all this, how do we get it to work so that people don't need to migrate to Lagos, to Abuja, to Port Harcourt, to the urban areas to get the feel of development?
For me, the mass of the Nigerian population is married in controversy and politics. Nigeria, as it is presently data deficient in almost all spheres of life. Population is also behind the creation of states and more states, agitation for more states. So when there is no truthfulness about the population figures, it will continually be a problem in Nigeria. Successive administrations have been shying away from conducting the census. One, it's expensive to do. Then I think, how are you sure you're going to get the real figures is also one of the factors that they shy away from. So for our population, we can run away from the fact that we have a large population. We're actually almost trailing India right now. And it's coming with a lot of poverty as well. So is it a good thing, this large population? Yes, it is, especially that we have a lot more young people in our population, about 70%. So it's a good thing if we manage and administer the country well. But as for precise data about our real population, what we can do about it, the answer is blowing in the wind.
Sadly, you've hit on a fundamental issue that's emblematic of Nigeria's current predicament. It's so core. And you said something in your advocacy. Are those in government, are they governing for themselves or for Nigerians? I think that is the crux. Are we unable or unwilling to conduct a census? I think that's the first fundamental question. Are we saying that Nigerians are not able to do it? And I would dare say we can do it if we really want to. I mean, in terms of what does it take to do it? Even in the olden days, it's just to count people, right, and record it accurately. So I would say that it's likely that we're unwilling to do it because a lot of distribution, a lot of things that have occurred are done according to population. And so that's why the question, are we governing Nigeria for ourselves as those in authority, for themselves or for the nation? Because if it is for Nigerians, it would be a priority. But there's a myth of the 200 million naira million market size. It's a myth because what percentage of that market size lives below poverty? 2018 to 2024, it's gone from about 30 to 40 to 47%. In multidimensional poverty, 63%. Is our population a good thing? My answer is large population. My answer is no. However, does it have a potential to be a good thing? Yes.
Thank you very much. And because of the richness of the different, I've just summarized it so that our viewers can decide for themselves. You think it's a problem of urbanization? You think it doesn't affect poor infrastructure and planning? As a matter of fact, the examples of London and New York are the very reasons why I'm saying that without data, we are in a mess. London and New York, as populated and sophisticated they are functional. Okay? Now, India has 1.4 billion people. We say about 300 million. India is a net exporter of food. We are a net importer of food. So Nobody is saying a large population on its own, but if you cannot plan for even if it's 10 million people, it's a disaster. We might as well continue to ask questions and hold authorities accountable, because if you and I don't act as watchmen, then we may as well kiss dividends of our democracy goodbye. I know we will see you again, same time next week at the table, because what matters to us matters to you. Till then, it's goodbye from all of us.
Bye. Goodbye.
See you next week.